Welcome back today, dear viewers, collectors, and curious minds from across the world. If you've ever glanced at a 50p coin and thought, it's just regular change, think again. Because today, we're diving deep into the world of the top 5 most valuable United Kingdom 50 new pence coins. Coins that, depending on their year, condition, mint mark, and rarity, are now worth big money in today's auction market in US dollars. These small pieces of metal have become powerful treasures in the hands of smart collectors, and if you're lucky, one might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from the year 1979. Even those found in dirty or circulated condition, which are now being recognized for their rarity, collectability, and increasing market value in today's auction world, particularly in US dollars. To understand the importance of the 1979 50 new pence coin, we must go back to a time when the UK was still in the early stages of decimal currency. The 50p coin was first introduced in 1969, 2 years before the full decimalisation of British coinage took place in 1971. It replaced the old 10-shilling note and was designed to be large and distinctive, both in size and shape. The coin was heptagonal, with 7 sides and an equilateral curve, making it a first of its kind in the world at the time. By 1979, the 50p coin had already become a key player in daily British commerce, and millions were in circulation. However, not all years are created equal when it comes to coin value, and 1979 stands out for a few unique reasons. The obverse of the 1979 50 new pence coin features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. In this image, the Queen wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and the portrait had been in use since the late 1960s. It was a classic, regal representation of the monarch during her middle years, dignified and graceful. The reverse of the coin carries the powerful image of Britannia, seated beside a lion and holding a trident and olive branch. This image, created by Christopher Ironside, symbolizes strength, peace, and national pride, key messages for a country navigating economic shifts and growing global influence in the late 1970s. Now, let's talk about the coin's growing popularity in today's market. While the 1979 50 new pence coin is not the rarest by mintage numbers, what makes it especially valuable today is the combination of historical appeal, aging rarity, and condition even when found in dirty or well-circulated state. As time has passed, most of these coins have either disappeared into private collections, been damaged beyond recognition, or have simply been discarded or melted. What's left are coins that have survived decades of handling, still bearing the markings of everyday life from more than 40 years ago. And it's exactly this kind of honest wear and natural aging that has started to gain appreciation among collectors who value character over flawlessness. A coin in dirty condition may not immediately appear valuable, but many collectors and auction buyers actually prefer coins in original, untouched form. Cleaning a coin can reduce its value significantly, as it removes the patina and natural surface features that give the piece its historical integrity. So if you come across a 1979 50 new pence that's seen better days but still holds all its details of visible Queen's portrait, a clear Britannia design, readable text, and no major corrosion, then you might be holding a low-grade but highly respected collectible. This is especially true if the coin features toning, a natural coloration that develops over time and adds to its vintage appearance. In the current auction environment, 1979 50 pence coins in circulated and dirty but decent condition have started to command noticeable prices. On platforms like eBay, Etsy, and coin specialist sites, these coins are being listed and sold for $234,000 depending on their eye appeal and authenticity. Graded examples in better condition can fetch higher prices, but even the dirtier and older-looking coins are getting attention, especially when sold as part of themed or vintage UK coin sets. Their demand is not just limited to British buyers, either collectors from the United States, Canada, Australia, and across Europe are increasingly looking for British pre-1980s decimal coins as part of broader Commonwealth collections. What also adds to the appeal of the 1979 50 pence is its connection to an era that now feels like another world. The late 1970s in Britain were marked by political change, economic hardship, and cultural evolution. Coins from this period capture the spirit of those times. Holding a coin from 1979 is like holding a tangible piece of that history, a silent witness to transactions in old corner shops, public buses, and market stalls, now retired but far from forgotten. And that emotional connection is part of what drives up demand in today's auctions, where buyers are not just chasing monetary value, but also nostalgia and national pride. So what should you do if you find a 1979 50 new pence coin in your home, especially one that's been sitting untouched, possibly dirty or discolored? First, resist the temptation to clean it. Instead, inspect it under good lighting. If the Queen's portrait is still distinguishable and the Britannia design hasn't worn down completely, your coin could be worth far more than face value. Collectors appreciate coins that are as close to their original state as possible. The dirt, the aging, the wear marks, they all tell a story. That story is part of the value, and it's what transforms a piece of currency into a collectible artifact. The United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from 1979, even in dirty circulated condition, is becoming an increasingly recognized and valued piece in the numismatic world. Its distinctive design, historical relevance, and ability to survive decades of use while retaining detail make it a small yet powerful coin to watch. With rising demand in international markets and a growing appreciation for original condition pieces, even these well-worn coins are finding new life and new value in auction houses and collectors' cabinets around the globe. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate a coin because of its appearance. Sometimes the most worn coins carry the richest stories and the biggest surprises. Next up, the United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from the year 1980, especially those in excellent condition. This coin might look familiar, but if you take a closer look, you'll see that it's much more than just a relic of everyday transactions. In the world of coin collecting and global auctions, this coin is building a reputation and it's beginning to fetch some big money in dollars. To understand why the 1980 50 new pence is gaining traction in today's market, we first have to take a step back and explore its historical background. The 50 new pence coin was introduced in 1969 as part of the United Kingdom's move toward decimalisation, which officially launched in 1971. It replaced the old 10-shilling note and introduced the world to a bold, modern coin, a seven-sided, equilateral curved piece that was practical to use and instantly recognisable. By 1980, the 50 pence coin had already cemented its place in everyday British life. However, the coins from this specific year hold a quiet distinction for several reasons. First, let's look at the design. The obverse of the coin features the second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. It's a dignified image of the monarch, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and this portrait had already become one of the most iconic depictions of the Queen during the 70s and 80s. The reverse of the 1980 coin retains the classical image of Britannia, seated with a trident in one hand and an olive branch in the other, with a lion resting peacefully by her side. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this imagery symbolizes Britain's naval strength, peace, and enduring spirit. It's not just beautiful, it's timeless, and in coins like the 1980 50 pence, this symbolism remains sharp and clear when the coin has been well preserved. The 1980 edition, particularly desirable today, is the rising collector interest in pre-1982 large-size 50 pence coins. In 1997, the Royal Mint reduced the size of the 50 pence coin to make it more lightweight and practical for circulation. As a result, the earlier, larger-sized coins were gradually withdrawn and replaced. This makes the large 50 pence coins from before 1997, and especially those minted in the 1970s and early 80s, more collectible than ever. The 1980 version, being one of the last of the large coins before collector editions and design changes took over, is now a highly desirable piece for anyone building a complete set of Queen Elizabeth II era coinage. Now, when it comes to condition, that's where things get especially exciting. A circulated coin may have scratches, discoloration, or wear around the edges, but a coin in excellent condition, meaning one that shows crisp detail, no heavy surface damage, and a strong visual presence, can stand out dramatically. For coins over 40 years old, excellent condition typically means minimal signs of wear on the Queen's face and hairlines, clear and sharp lettering, and a clean Britannia with all design elements visible. These are the coins that collectors are hunting for, not only because they're harder to find, but because they're the best examples of the era's design and minting standards. In today's auction markets, both in the United Kingdom and internationally, the 1980 50 new pence in excellent condition is catching attention. Auction sites like eBay, Heritage, and various numismatic forums have seen these coins listed and sold for prices ranging from $326,000 with particularly pristine or professionally graded examples reaching as high as $125,000 or more, depending on presentation and demand at the time. This increase in value is not just about scarcity. It's also about nostalgia, aesthetic appreciation, and the growing global demand for British coins, especially from the decades that represent the heart of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. One fascinating trend is the growing interest in these coins from overseas collectors. In countries like the United States, Canada, and Australia, all part of the Commonwealth and all places where Queen Elizabeth II's image holds deep cultural familiarity, British decimal coins are becoming hot commodities. The 1980-50 new pence is especially appealing because it still features the older, larger size, which makes it feel more substantial in hand and more impressive in any collection. As these coins get older and fewer remain in excellent condition, their market value is expected to rise steadily. Another factor playing into its rising value is the transition in coin terminology. After 1981, the term new pence was dropped in favor of just pence on coin inscriptions. That makes coins bearing the phrase new pence, such as the 1980-50 pence, a distinct collectible group. It marks the end of an era both linguistically and numismatically. So when you find a 1980 coin, you're not just looking at a piece of metal. You're holding one of the last coins to carry a term that defined Britain's currency reform and shaped an entire generation's experience of money. So, what should you do if you come across a 1980-50 new pence coin? First, don't underestimate it. Even if it looks simple or familiar, closely examine the surface. If the design remains crisp, the edges are intact, and there's minimal wear or scratching, you could be looking at a valuable piece. Avoid the urge to polish or clean it. Collectors prefer coins in their original condition. And if you believe it qualifies as excellent, consider getting it graded or professionally appraised. It could significantly increase its marketability and price at auction. To wrap things up, the United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from 1980, especially in excellent condition, is far more than just an old coin from the bottom of a drawer. It's a collectible artifact of a unique time in British monetary history, a symbol of royal continuity and national pride, and a growing asset in the global collector's market. As interest in early decimal coinage grows and the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II becomes more historically significant with each passing year, coins like this one are stepping into the spotlight. So check your change, explore your collections, and never overlook what might seem ordinary, because in the world of numismatics, the real treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Next up, the United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from the year 1982. This isn't just another coin from your childhood or your grandparents' drawer. This is a coin that holds powerful historical significance, aesthetic value, and growing interest among global collectors, especially when found in fine condition. And in today's numismatic market, these coins are beginning to attract impressive dollar values at auction, making the 1982 50 pence piece one that deserves serious attention. To appreciate the value of the 1982 50 new pence coin, we need to go back to its origin and purpose. The 50 pence coin was originally introduced in 1969, just ahead of the full decimalisation of the UK currency system in 1971. It replaced the 10-shilling note and quickly became one of the most important coins in circulation. What made it unique was its bold design, a seven-sided, equilateral curved shape, unlike anything seen before in British coinage. It was large, it was practical, and it was distinctive, easily recognizable by touch and by look. For decades, it remained unchanged in shape and size, and the coins minted during this era, including those from 1982, are now known as part of the large-size 50 pence series, which was eventually discontinued in 1997. Now let's focus on the 1982 issue. This particular year was special, not just for the coin itself, but for the entire concept of decimal coinage. The 1982 50 new pence was one of the last coins to feature the words new pence on the reverse, before the Royal Mint made a key wording change. From 1983 onward, coins would be inscribed with simply 50 pence instead of new pence, signifying the fact that decimalisation was now fully accepted and that the new label was no longer necessary. So, the 1982 coin marks the final chapter in the new pence era, and because of this, it holds a special place in the eyes of collectors. It's not just a coin, it's the closing sentence of a monetary story that spanned over a decade. The 1982 50 new pence coin features the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, a design that was used from the late 1960s into the mid-1980s. It presents the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, facing right, with a youthful yet regal expression. The reverse side features the classic seated Britannia, a symbol of national strength and peace, holding a trident and an olive branch, with a lion resting beside her. This design, by Christopher Ironside, was a consistent element of the 50 pence coin throughout this period and is considered one of the most elegant reverses in modern British coinage. The 1982 version, increasingly attractive, is its fine condition status. A coin in fine condition has been in circulation but still retains a considerable amount of its original detail. It might show some signs of handling as expected for a coin over 4 decades old, but it will still feature a clearly visible Queen's portrait, a defined Britannia, readable inscriptions, and relatively intact edges. While it might not shine like an uncirculated piece, its appeal lies in its authenticity and survival. A coin that has seen real use but has managed to maintain its identity is one that collectors admire and respect. Now, let's talk value, because the interest in this coin is no longer limited to sentimental collectors in the UK. The 1982 50 new pence coin is gaining value in auction markets across the world, particularly in countries like the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, where collectors are building extensive Queen Elizabeth II coin sets. These collectors value key transitional coins such as the last year of the new pence inscription and are willing to pay good money for fine condition pieces. On platforms like eBay, Etsy, heritage auctions, and other numismatic sites, this coin is now fetching between $621,000 depending on condition, toning, and presentation. Some better examples, especially those sold with provenance or as part of thematic collections, can go for even more. The 1982 coin's appeal is also enhanced by the fact that it was not issued in high-profile proof sets like other special coins, and so the majority of surviving pieces come from circulation. This means that finding one in truly fine condition is becoming more and more difficult as time passes. Many examples are scratched, bent, or overly worn, reducing their collector appeal. That scarcity of well-preserved circulated coins creates a price gap that is now being filled by increasing demand. Coin dealers and collectors alike are actively seeking good examples of this specific year because they know it will only grow more desirable in the future. If you come across one of these coins in a family coin collection, in a bag of old change, or even in a flea market or second-hand store, pay attention. Examine it closely. Look at the details on the Queen's face, the precision of the lettering, the strength of Britannia's outline. If it appears clean, undamaged, and original, you may have a valuable piece on your hands. Most importantly, never clean. The coin collectors value natural surfaces and patina over artificial shine. A coin in fine condition that hasn't been tampered with can command significantly higher prices than a polished or altered one. The United Kingdom 50 new pence from 1982, especially in fine condition, is a true transitional coin. It stands at the end of the new pence period and marks the conclusion of one of the most recognizable eras in modern British coinage. Its large size, its regal portrait, and its symbolic reverse make it a timeless collector's item. Combine that with rising international demand and its historical importance, and you have a coin that's not only collectible but increasingly valuable in dollar terms at auctions around the world. The 1982 50 new pence is proof that sometimes, the coins we consider ordinary turn out to be far more extraordinary than we ever expected. Next up, the United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from the year 1969. This coin, especially in very fine condition, is more than just currency. It's a milestone. It's a symbol of a national transformation. And in today's auction market, it's becoming an item of serious value, particularly when measured in US dollars. Let's go back in time to understand just how revolutionary the 1969 50 new pence coin really was. The late 1960s was a time of dramatic change for the British monetary system. After centuries of using pounds, shillings, and pence under the pre-decimal system, the UK was preparing to shift to a decimal currency, a move that would forever alter how British people counted and used money. This change officially took place in 1971, but 2 years earlier, in 1969, the very first decimal coin was introduced into circulation, the 50 new pence. The 1969 50 new pence coin was a bold introduction. It was large, heavy, and instantly recognizable due to its unique equilateral curved heptagon-shaped 7 sides, each with a gentle curve, making it not just functional but distinctive. At a time when the public was skeptical of decimalization, this coin had a big job. It had to introduce a brand new system while still earning the public's trust. Replacing the old 10-shilling note, it was the first decimal coin of value, and with it came a new chapter in British currency. The obverse of the coin features the elegant first decimal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This effigy showed the young Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and it remained a standard for many years. The reverse design, by Christopher Ironside, shows the iconic figure of Britannia, seated with a trident in one hand and an olive branch in the other, accompanied by a lion resting by her side. The inscription reads New Pence and 50, emphasizing the newness of the coin and its value in the modernized system. The combination of classical symbolism and modern purpose gives this coin a striking identity that continues to impress collectors. Now let's talk rarity and condition. While the 1969 50 new pence was produced in large numbers for general circulation, most of these coins were used in everyday life, passed through countless hands, worn down by time, and eventually replaced when the coin size was reduced in 1997. Today, finding an original 1969 coin in very fine condition is much more difficult than people think. Very fine condition means the coin retains much of its original detail. You can still clearly see the Queen's features, the intricate detailing of Britannia's gown and trident, and the lion's manet. The lettering is sharp, and the rim is still defined. It may show some signs of circulation, but there are no deep scratches, corrosion, or loss of design clarity. This is a coin that has survived more than half a century with dignity, and that makes it highly desirable to collectors. In today's numismatic market, this coin is finally receiving the attention it deserves. With the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, interest in coins from the early years of her reign, especially those from key transitional moments like decimalization, has surged worldwide. Collectors from the United States, Canada, Australia, and across Europe are now looking to acquire pieces that represent important parts of modern history. The 1969 50 new pence is exactly that. It was the first. It was bold. It was different. And now it's becoming valuable. Auction platforms such as eBay, heritage auctions, and various numismatic websites are seeing increasing activity around this coin. A well-preserved example in very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $729,000 depending on eye appeal, surface quality, and demand at the time. Coins that have been professionally graded and encapsulated in slabs can reach even higher prices. This surge in value isn't just about rarity in the traditional sense. It's about cultural significance. Collectors are not just looking for coins, they're looking for stories. And the 1969 50 new pence tells one of the most important stories in British coinage. Another reason for the rising value is the size and weight of the coin itself. Before the size reduction in 1997, the 50 pence coin had a commanding presence. It weighed nearly 14 grams and was over 30 millimeters across, making it the largest circulating coin in the decimal system. Many people today have never even held one of these large coins, which adds to the mystique. When collectors look back, they're often drawn to coins that feel substantial, coins that have a tangible weight, a sense of permanence. The 1969 large 50 pence offers exactly that. If you have an old coin collection or even just a drawer full of forgotten change, now is the perfect time to search. Look carefully for a 1969 50 new pence coin. If you find one, examine it closely under good lighting. If the details are still sharp and the coin hasn't been cleaned, scratched, or excessively worn, you might be holding a very desirable piece. Resist the temptation to clean it. Collectors value natural patina and originality over artificial shine. Even a coin with a little age-related dullness can still be worth a significant amount if the detail remains intact. The United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from 1969 is not just another old coin, it's a groundbreaking piece of British monetary history. It represents the beginning of the decimal era, it carries the regal portrait of a young queen, and it showcases classic British symbolism in its design. When found in very fine condition, it has become increasingly rare and valuable, attracting the attention of global collectors and rising steadily in dollar value at auctions. Whether you're a lifelong numismatist or someone new to the hobby, this is one coin that should not be overlooked. Its time has come, and its value is only going up. Next up, the United Kingdom 50 new pence coin from the year 1983 in circulated condition. You may have come across one of these coins in your old collections, family heirlooms, or even tucked away in forgotten drawers, but don't be too quick to dismiss it. Because today, that 1983 50 pence coin could be worth far more than just its face value. In fact, depending on the market, demand, and condition, it could fetch a handsome return in US dollars at modern-day auctions and collector platforms. Let's rewind a little and explore the historical background of this coin. The 50 pence coin was first introduced in 1969 as part of the transition to a decimalized currency system in the United Kingdom. Over the years, it became one of the most iconic and diverse denominations in British coinage, with a wide array of commemorative designs, mintages, and special editions. But in 1983, the Royal Mint struck the standard circulation version of the 50p coin, bearing the now familiar Britannia design, a seated figure of Britannia with a trident and shield originally sculpted by Christopher Ironside. Although the design had been in use for several years, the 1983 issue holds a special place in the collector's realm for several reasons, and when combined with circulated condition rarity and current market demand, its value has begun to climb noticeably. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1983 50 new pence is its production context. That year, the Royal Mint released this coin primarily as part of collector sets rather than for wide general circulation. While there are indeed circulated examples that made their way into public hands, the numbers are far fewer than other years. This makes the 1983 version significantly scarcer in comparison. Furthermore, the term new pence was used on 50 pence coins up until 1981, but interestingly, the 1983 coin retained the inscription new pence, making it one of the last standard issues to feature this wording before the switch to just 50 pence in later years. This little detail might seem minor at first glance, but to a dedicated numismatist, it marks a transition era and adds an element of historical uniqueness to the piece. When it comes to condition, the term circulated often suggests a coin with some wear and tear, perhaps even discoloration or surface scratches, which may lower its value compared to a pristine uncirculated version. However, because so few of these coins were released for actual everyday use, finding a circulated 1983 50 new pence in reasonable condition is much rarer than people expect. As a result, even circulated examples in very fine or good condition have started to catch the eye of serious collectors and investors alike. In online auctions, numismatic forums, and coin dealer marketplaces, these coins are now being listed and sold for values ranging anywhere from $223,000, depending on overall wear, visibility of design details, and accompanying provenance. Some particularly well-preserved circulated examples with strong design clarity and minimal edge damage have even pushed values beyond the $100 mark during active bidding sessions. What makes this even more fascinating is the growing international demand for British decimal coinage. With collectors in the United States, Canada, Australia, and across Europe now showing increasing interest in pre-1990s British coins, the market is seeing a steady rise in prices, and the 1983 50 new pence is right at the heart of that movement. It's no longer just about owning rare coins, it's about owning pieces of history that tell a story. And the 1983 coin, with its transitional language, limited circulation, and unique numismatic place in the timeline, is becoming a highly desirable item for those who appreciate the deeper narrative behind everyday currency. For those who already have this coin in their possession, now might be the perfect time to evaluate its condition and consider getting it appraised or graded by a reputable coin grading service. Even circulated examples, if stored properly and not overly damaged, can still be certified and given a fair market value that might surprise you. And if you're a collector on the hunt, keep your eyes open at flea markets, estate sales, coin fairs, and online auction sites. You never know when a hidden gem might surface at a reasonable price, offering the potential for long-term value appreciation. As with all collectibles, demand and scarcity drive the market. And right now, the demand for rare British 50p coins from the early 1980s is at one of its highest points in recent memory. Coins that were once overlooked or thought of as simple pocket change are now commanding real attention and real dollars. It's a great time to be in the coin collecting community, and the 50 new pence from 1983 is a shining example of why. To wrap it all up, the 1983 United Kingdom 50 new pence coin in circulated condition may appear modest at first glance, but its scarcity, historic significance, and collector appeal have turned it into a hot item in today's auction markets. Whether you're a casual hobbyist or a seasoned numismatist, this is one coin you'll want to research, appreciate, and possibly invest in while the market momentum is in your favor. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos where we explore more valuable and hidden gems in the world of coins. Share your thoughts and experiences with the 1983 50 new pence in the comments below and let us know what treasures you've discovered in your own collections. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck on your next coin hunt.